this one I think I bought, but it was in a sale. Yeah, it looks quite odd. it looks almost like a NES game, but entirely sure what I'm supposed to be doing or what the plot is. Oh. Yeah, it's definitely got a almost Super Nintendo feel to it. 3, 2, 8. Come down here, you bastard crow. Oh, that's not fair. What mixes? A little man with a bucket on his head. It's the avatar from Pagan. That's a whole kettle of fish there. I didn't really have much experience with the Ultima games until a friend of mine, he got a, I think it was an Amiga, and me and him, well, back in the old days of gaming, way before all the newfangled games, lots of games you basically would have to have someone sit with you to write things down. The HUD systems were much more different, especially with Ultima, because we played Ultima 6 and Ultima 7, and then almost came to blows playing Ultima 8 Pagan, which was really, well, it was EA. They'd taken over the developers of the game and they made an absolute turkey called Pagan. It was basically broken on release. It had lots of bugs with it, particularly hit detection. The Ultima games before that, you basically would look in chests, similar to how gaming is today. But in Ultima, there was there wasn't patches and stuff like we have today. You know, it was a totally different experience. And I'm not explaining this very well, but basically me and my friend Scott would sit down with a paper and pad, picking up clues to what you had to do, you had to do that on Ultima 7, especially Sceptred Isle. That was like the add-on, because you have to do A, B and C to missions. Like you had to get honey from a nudist colony that had giant bees. Yeah, it sounds that crazy. And you had to meet certain people to get certain things, which was completely crazy. Behind the cell, what's the talk? Oh, what this is. It's funny, she doesn't look anything like the Avatar. Yeah, so basically me and Scott would be playing it, or I'd play it and he'd write down what we would had to do. Which, it sort of taught me to write, especially because I write everything in block capitals, because my joined up writing's terrible because of my fucked up fingers. So fuck my fingers up doing Judah. Part of the reason why I packed it in. Dislocating two of your fingers puts you off these sort of things. But yeah, he'd be sort of reading it out, because you didn't have like an in-game diary that was easy to read, and if you didn't write stuff down, the next time you'd start playing it, it wouldn't tell you what you've missed. You literally would have to sort of remember everything you'd done. So if we hadn't played it for like about 3 weeks, you'd be completely baffled what you were doing, because you were halfway through a mission, and unless you met the people who were involved in the mission, you'd be completely confused. Ow, 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 my nose. Yeah, so we'd be sat there arguing like crazy sometimes about what we're supposed to be doing. But and some of the weird things that were on the Ultima games, like there was a flying carpet that had box seats. Even though I never played the original Ultima games, but my mate Scott has since, and he told me about some of the mad stuff that was in the particularly the first two games, there was stuff like NASA was in it, and machine guns and laser guns, and this is all supposed to be set in some medieval world. Which was pretty crazy. Hey. But yeah, when we got to Pagan, there were so many game-breaking bugs that it drive you mental. You know, you had this thing where you had to jump, and because it was on like 2 dimensions, it was very difficult to work out where you were in position to where you wanted to go. And yeah, we'd have arguments. We'd go, you pressed it wrong, we got to go all over again. And even if you touched water, you died. It wasn't like, you know, Zelda or something, or Story of 4, where you could run around in water. In this game, if you touched any water, it was instant death, and it was a nightmare. And supposedly, we didn't know at the time, but it basically came out in computer game magazines and stuff. And this is before the internet. You know, even when we got dial-up, it sort of started opening up what the fuck was wrong with the bloody game. But that was years later, and my mate was at university by then. And basically what it was the game had been thrown out there to meet the deadline, which happened a lot in 90s computer games. You know, modern patching, like they've done with games like Battlefield, Hardline and Mass Effect. Lots of people think that's a new thing, and it's not. Back in the day, they used to patch games all the time. I think the first time I ever had to deal with patching a game that I was really surprised had been thrown out there without sort of, it being properly sorted was Dominion Wars. It was a Star Trek Deep Space Nine game. Where you basically had to fight the Dominion. It was pretty much the plot of the from season 3 till the end, season 7 of Deep Space Nine, and it even included stuff in Star Trek First Contact and Insurrection had elements. Oh, you pain in the arse, come here. Oh, you bastard. Try the bucket head again. But, yeah, the game released, it had a special type of ship, I think it's called the Achilles class. And the game developers had released the game, but they hadn't released it properly. I was like, what? Because it was a really enjoyable game, you know, because I'm a massive fan of the Defiant in Star Trek. It's my favourite ship. Federation ship. I also like the runabouts and the Neptune class. But, you know, it was really shocking that they'd released such a popular game, because at that time Star Trek was very, very popular. With this game fault in it, that the Achilles class ship wouldn't handle like it was supposed to. It was supposed to fire quantum torpedoes and plasma enhanced phasers like the Defiant does, but it was a much bigger ship and it would have much better shielding and defence and all that. It was basically a battle cruiser, where the Defiant itself was basically what was known as a convoy ship. It was supposed to protect convoys from enemy shipping. One of my other favourites was the Steam Runner class. But you could use all these ships and you could command fleets and all sorts. So a really good game. But they released it and you had to get the patch. And I was really annoyed because my home computer didn't have the internet, because my stepdad's an arsehole and he basically assumed that I was just going to use the internet for porn all the time, which is bullshit. Yes, I do like porn, but you know, I was a horny teenager and all that, but I wasn't sex mad as a teenager. Oh, my bum. It's a problem sitting down for too long. Yeah, and the old voice is a bit... Hey. I've seen a lot of videos of late about the YouTuber have come up with lots of these ideas about you know, AdSense. But I've never used AdSense because I've never produced anything that's had a following. And you know, if anyone watches these videos, it probably won't be for a while. But I don't care. I like chatting basically, and it's better than just playing these games just for me. And I can talk about stuff, and you know, if anything happens to me, my family's got something to look at and hear my voice. Even if my brother-in-law has a tendency to act like I'm the weirdest person on the planet, which I'm obviously not. My problem is lack of confidence, really. I've got 2 weeks off soon, so I'm thinking about maybe doing a whole video about how to complete Skyrim. Skyrim's one of my favourites. Certainly my favourite of the modern role-play games. Oh, bloody hell! I can't hit him! Oh, fucking hell! It's too high up to hit! Stupid game. Yeah, she looks look! She looks nothing like that. Weird. Yeah, and like I was saying about Ultima, Pagan really put my mate off of getting the 9th part, and from what I've seen, because I watched the Spoony videos about it, and it really sort of made me remember what a fun time me and my mate had playing Ultima 6 and 7, and what a nightmare 8 was. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh, but Ultima 9 supposedly was an absolute shit show. But it was it didn't connect with the plot of the end of Pagan, which me and my mate never got to. And we literally had a friend called Jack who had completed it, explained to us when we were both drunk what the end plot was, and I was like, Jesus Christ, you had to do missions like kill children. And I was like, what the fuck were they thinking? But yeah, you had to side with a demon and do lots of stuff like that. And, you know, if you played the previous Ultima games, the character you were playing was supposed to be some sort of, not just a knight, but like a religious figure. That he was supposed to be like sort of a saviour character. But what they wanted you to do in Ultima was like completely the opposite. It was like becoming an evil bastard, because in that world it had already been invaded by the Avatar, who's the villain. Yeah, he was a piece of shit. Real. He delight he'd mock you through the game, and you'd hear him say, you know, whilst you're here, Britannia burns. And it was made out to be a lot better than, you know, it was, that this was a talking character, but it was a bit yeah, the Avatar was a bit of a weirdie for an enemy, because he gloated at you all the time, which was a bit strange. Oh. Yeah, and the whole idea was that he was going to make your character desperate, because you defeated him at the end of Sector Dial. And you know, the whole plot was really weird, because in the previous games you could do stuff like alter your character, you could do stats and all that. All that went out the window in Pagan, and it was literally like someone had made a game for consoles and just called it, you know, Ultima. It didn't feel like Ultima at all, and the character in it was just ugh. It was called the Avatar, but he didn't look like the Avatar, he didn't act like the Avatar. There was none of the stuff from the previous games, like the making your own weapons and upgrading armour. None of that. That was all thrown out, supposedly, to meet the deadline. Which I thought, oh my god, what's the point in that? But supposedly it was to tie in, because EA wanted to do Ultima Online that was like an MMO. So the staff working on this game were like reduced down and all that, which seemed really stupid. I actually recently got the sort of game creator of the whole franchise, Richard Garriott. I follow him on Twitter, and he's a really nice, intelligent bloke. But I got his biography, and I actually haven't got to the part where he talks about Ultima Pagan. But I'll be really surprised if there's anything positive, because it'd be literally like sort of Indiana Jones turning out to be a Nazi. But you know, he was on the side of the baddies. I think I am going to... Let's have a look at options. How to play. Oh, there's double jumps. Ah, I'm beginning to see what I was doing wrong in this. Yeah, I was getting off topic about Ultimate. Yeah, the online game, it was really good, but I never had, like I said, I didn't have internet on my computer at home, so I never got to play it. And by the time I had moved out, and it was about 2003, and Ultimate was long since dead, but you know, some MMOs I've played over the years have been really good, others have been bloody awful. Star Wars Galaxies I was a big fan of, and then they kept patching it, and they patched it so badly at one point that I just thought, what's the point? One game I really wish that they brought to like a system that I really enjoy is it's actually like a freebie app, and it's Army of Darkness, the Medieval Dead. Did better though. It's like a castle defence game, but it's really fun. And it uses stuff from the movie and dialogue, you know, with Bruce Campbell's voice. You know, it'd be pretty easy to port to this as well, because the controls are really easy. It's, you know, there's order buttons, and there's, well, it's not even a button, it's like a touchscreen thing. And it's all about, you know, balancing out the enemies. The bum's going to sleep. I can hear it snoring. Should have really gone to my mum's this weekend, but I've been so depressed because of work and not being told what's going on, and just makes you miserable. I've said for years though that I think the franchise system should be scrapped. Sell it all. You know, it's like the governments, I don't know how many governments of Britain have tried to do stuff to the NHS, and you just think sometimes it's not broken. Why are you putting all of this unnecessary shit? It's like the series of like blaming nurses for people's deaths and all that. And I'm like, well, the system's never going to be 100% perfect. If someone's really ill, they might not survive. But it's better having an NHS than something like America with a blowing medical insurance bullshit. That was one of the things that really turned me off straight away about Milo Yiannopoulos, was his attack on the NHS. I'm like, it's not a perfect system, but what system run by government is. If you want an idea of how little Milo Yiannopoulos actually cares about working people, the thing to do is watch that interview he had with the drunken peasants, where there's a bloke on it. I don't agree with everything he says. I think he's a bit of a blowhard. Called Paul's Ego. But the way that Milo was sort of patronising him about how, you know, working people should be sort of revelling in capitalism that America's got, and it's just bullshit. It's basically a way for greedy people to ease their consciences. It's like all this shit about, oh, Obamacare's bad. I'm like, yeah, it is bad. If Obama had brought in something like the NHS, I could understand the hatred, but he didn't. All he did is bring in a ridiculous mandate and a blowjob to the medical insurance companies. You know, the same thing with what Trump's trying to do. The only people who seem to make any sort of profit are the insurance firms. And the insurance firms can make out that they're the real death panels. The NHS will assess if you can survive an operation. If you're 85 years old and you have something like kidney failure, they might just decide to put you on dialysis and give the kidney to someone who's younger. It's not a death panel, it's the fact that a certain percentage of people won't survive the operations. Anyway, I'm going to give it, I'm going to end now because my throat's a bit flaky and I'm just tired. Right, shutting down, let's have a look, and end. Toodaloo.